Hi everyone, this is Dr. Chhoda with Ignition Time. Welcome to part 2 of the American Recovery video series. This is the second of the third part in the video series on American recovery. I want us to get back to normal as a country, and we are indeed getting back to normal. The Back to Normal Index, which is a partnership between CNN Business and Moody's Analytics, has some incredible data, some incredible information, and I will provide you with the link in the description section below so you can check out some of this data for yourself. In this video, I'm going to focus on some of the good news in terms of the unemployment benefits and the breakdown of the impact of all the different industries that have been hammered as a result of this crisis, so you know exactly what has changed and exactly how you can prepare for the new world. Now, as you probably know, many individuals started working from home. Remote work, which used to be the exception, has now become the new norm, and I believe this is a permanent change. This is something that was happening gradually, but now what could have happened in maybe 10 or 15 years has happened in a matter of months. Essential workers in hospitals and grocery stores were hailed as everyday heroes, as they should be, and office workers not only started to work remotely, but they became full-time workers from home, and the need to go back to work, the need to go back to an office, the need to work in an urban area has now been replaced by the need to move to the suburbs and to move to areas where you can have more space and an office area right inside the comforts of your own home. And millions of individuals filed for unemployment. So I think it's safe to say, and these are words from CNN Business and Moody's Analytics, that your job will never ever be the same again. So let's look at the unemployment trends, the unemployment claims across the country. Now, the good news is the unemployment claims have been reducing as more and more people have been getting back to work. But let's take a look at this chart and let's see how it changed over a period of time. So you can see that before the pandemic began, the unemployment levels were between 1.6 and 2 million individuals unemployed, but that significantly shot up over a period of time. Within a matter of weeks, when we get to May of this year, we're talking between 22 to 24 million, almost 25 million individuals unemployed. And over a period of time, those unemployment numbers have actually come down because more and more individuals actually happen to get back to work. And this is the data from the US Department of Labor. So this data that you see on your screen represents a substantial increase in unemployment and then a gradual reduction in unemployment as more people go back to work. This data that you see on your screen now shows you the weekly unemployment claims. As you can see, once the pandemic hit, there were a significant number of claims on a weekly basis, a lot of claims, and the claims were well over 1 million claims a week for several weeks, and then they did dip to under a million, but then they went back to above a million claims. So again, as you can see, as of data that is fairly recent, the number of claims is still, the number of weekly unemployment claims is still well over a million claims, and that's where things stand right now. So this is data on US unemployment. Let's look at this breakdown by state. You'll see the darker portions represent states with a higher degree of unemployment, and the lighter shades represent a lower percentage of unemployment, a lower percentage of the labor force. In other words, let's say there are 100 people and 2 people are unemployed, that would be a 2% unemployment rate. This is a percentage of the labor force. So as you can see, some states are not doing very well at all. Some states like Louisiana, 12% unemployment. And the states that are in a darker shade have a higher degree of unemployment. Connecticut is at 12%, as at the time I'm recording this video. Massachusetts is at 12% percentage of labor force filing ongoing claims. And as you can see, this is a nationwide. California is at 15% percentage of labor force filing unemployment. That is high, and so many states are not doing very well at all. As you can see, Hawaii is at 18% unemployment. A significant portion of the workforce in Hawaii is dependent on tourism, which has come to a standstill. Illinois is right now at 10% at the time we are recording this. Texas is at 8%. So as you can see, some states are doing better than others. Minnesota at 8%. And so again, different states are at different stages of their cycle, if you will, of unemployment. Michigan is at 9%. And so again, there are some states that are doing much better and other states that are not doing very well at all. Now let's take a look at this next chart here that breaks down unemployment by sector. You'll see that some sectors like leisure information, education, transportation services, retail services, they're not doing well at all. In fact, some sectors and some industries have been impacted much worse than others. And if you're watching this, you know exactly what I'm talking about, especially if you belong to one of these sectors. Let's take a closer look at some of these sectors in detail and dig a little bit deeper. Let's look at leisure, for example. You can see performing arts and spectator sports come to a standstill. Accommodation, gambling in amusement parks, museums, restaurants and bars, big hit. The performing arts, forget about it. We aren't going to watch plays or live shows. We're definitely not going and watching games, like we would under normal circumstances. So that was the leisure sector. Let's take a look at some other sectors and dig deeper, and we'll see exactly how individual segments within those sectors have been impacted. Information and media, movies and music down significantly. AMC is gradually starting to reopen their theaters, selling tickets for pennies on the dollar. Transportation, sightseeing, ground passenger transit. A lot of states are having, struggling to make any income because no one's using mass transit. Significant reduction in mass transit. And let's take a look at retail as a sector. Clothing, personal and laundry, home furnishing, electronic appliances, health and personal care. Significant reduction because people are not spending money. Let's take a look at the next sector, which is real estate. As you can see, with real estate, rental and leasing is down significantly. People simply, there's a reduction in that aspect of the business. Let's take a look at the next sector, which has been hit very badly, professional services. And you can see temporary professional services, secretaries and sort of independent contractors, if you will. They've been suffering. Information and media, movies and music, taken a big hit. Financial, commercial banking. A lot of malls are suffering, a lot of commercial companies are suffering, which means that commercial banking is also taking a hit in this environment we live in. Construction, non-residential, civil engineering, specialty, a lot. So, single family homes and homes generally are doing well in this pandemic because, people need a place to live. Let's take a look at hours worked at small businesses. Now, what you're looking at on your screen is a nationwide trend. There's been a significant reduction in small businesses and the work hours that they've had. So they've slashed their work hours. California has seen a reduction of 35% relative to the national average, which was closer to 25. Let's go check out a couple of other states. New York is down 36%, worse than the national average. Look at that. Let's take a look at New Jersey. Small businesses in New Jersey have not been hit as hard as small businesses in New York. New York really took the brunt of the pandemic, and New York is still a long way away from what many would call a decent recovery. Florida is also down 33%, significant hit to small businesses in Florida, down significantly. Now let's take a look at another state, and this time we're going to take a look at the state of Ohio. Ohio, as you can see, is down 10.7%, like New Jersey. Not as bad as Florida, not as bad as New York. So as you can see, different states, small businesses have been impacted differently. Pennsylvania is down 23.1%, sort of in between the other states that you saw earlier, in between Florida and New York on one end, and in between other states, like Ohio on the other end. Texas is down 29.8%, quite significant, greater than the national average. So small businesses in Texas have been impacted quite dramatically. So again, as you can see, the trends are different for different states. Illinois down 23.1%, lower than the national average. In other words, Illinois is doing a little bit better than the national average. But again, you can see some states are doing worse, some states are doing better, and the national average is right around 25%. That's where things stand, everybody. I hope this information was valuable. As you can see, we are starting to recover, but different states are recovering at different rates. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned something new, please click like, please click subscribe, please enable notifications so you get an instant update from us going forward. I really appreciate you watching. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. Again, I live the American dream. I have the fortune, the privilege, the honor of living the American dream, and I hope to teach you how to reach your American dream. Thank you so much for watching. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. Get your cell phone out if you want alerts from us. Send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000, and you'll get instant alerts from us whenever we have important breaking news. You can also get added to our email list, and you can opt out of the email list or the SMS list at any time. Once again, please click like, please click subscribe. It does help out the YouTube algorithm. It helps me and my team. We don't, you don't pay anything for this content and for all the hours of effort that goes into the creation of these videos on a daily basis. So I would really appreciate you simply clicking the like button. That is your vote of confidence in me and my team. So please do that. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. I look forward to seeing you in the next video of Ignition Time. Thanks. Bye.